So very practical application based topic, guys. So please remember that in this topic and time and work are two really important topics, which from where you can expect 2 to 3 questions coming up in almost all the examinations, right? Having said that, both the topics are easy. In time and work also, we saw only a small relationship called total work is equal to number of days into efficiency. And here also we are looking at a very small, formula called speed is equal to distance by time. Okay. So in this chapter, we are dealing with only these three things. Speed is distance upon time, right? Now, the thing that complicates this chapter is the uniformity of units. So we have to ensure that the units are uniform. When I say units are uniform, all I mean is if distance given to me is in the form of kilometers, the time should be in the form of hours. Okay. And the unit of speed has to be kilometers per hour. Similarly, if distance given to me is in the form of meters, then the time has to be in seconds and the unit of speed has to be meters per second. Now, this is something which we have to ensure in each and every question because 99% of the cases, the examiner does not give you these things in uniformity. So I repeat, the first and the foremost important check is check the uniformity of units. Clear, guys? Uniformity of units. And second, let's be handy with the formula. Speed is distance by time. Time into speed is equal to distance, and time is distance by speed. Right? So with practice, these things become pretty easy with all of us. Now, having said that, we have two units of speed. Okay. It's very important for us to also understand the conversion. As I told you, the examiner will not give you units in your favor. Okay. So let's understand the conversion of them, guys. So the conversion here is simple. Understand, kilometers per hour is a larger unit. And meters per second is a smaller unit. Okay. So, and in school we have learned either we are multiplying by 5 by 18 or we are multiplying with 18 by 5. So 5 by 18 is a smaller fraction and 18 by 5 is a larger fraction, right? So remember, from larger, if I'm moving to smaller, I'm multiplying with a smaller fraction. So I repeat, something kilometers per hour, if I'm converting into meters per second, that is into 5 by 18, will give me something in the form of meters per second. Similarly, from meters per second, which is a smaller unit, if I'm moving up to a larger unit, clear? Then all that I'm doing is I'm multiplying with a larger fraction, and the larger fraction in this case becomes into 18 by 5. Clear? So meters per second into 18 by 5 gives me kilometers per hour. Kilometers per hour into 5 by 18 gives me meters per second. Now, this conversion is also something which is really important for all of us, right? Without wasting too much of time, let's get into the first question. Can you just take a minute and solve this, please? Yep, let's see this, guys. So this question says that a person has to cover 600 meters in 5 minutes. So as I told you, cross check. If this is in meters, this has to be in seconds. So my job is to convert this in the form of seconds. And now the question is asking me find the speed in kilometers an hour. Okay, so let's see this. So I know that the formula of speed is distance by time. Okay, so if I'm talking about distance by time, so the speed would be 600 meters and the time should be in the form of seconds. So 5 minutes in the form of seconds will be 5 into 60 seconds. Now this would give me speed in what, guys? In meters per second. But the question is asking a speed in kilometers per hour. So from meters per second, if I have to convert in terms of kilometers per hour, I have to multiply with 18 by 5. Smaller to larger. So larger fraction. Clear? So 60 ones and 60 tens, 5 ones and 5 twos. So your answer here is going to be 36 divided by 5, which means the answer is 7.2 kilometers per hour. So most of you have been correct. The answer is 7.2 kilometers per hour. Okay, guys, let's go forward with the second question, please. Again, a very simple question. Take a minute and solve this, please. Now let's see this, guys. So this question now says Ravi runs 18 kilometers an hour. How long in seconds would he take to run 100 meters? So I know that time is equal to distance by speed. Okay. And the question is asking us the time in seconds. So therefore the distance should be in meters and the speed should be in meters per second. So 18 kilometers per hour will be how many meters per second into 5 by 18 meters per second. So 18 and 18 gets cancelled. 5 ones are 5 20s are. So therefore, the time taken by Ravi to cross is going to be 20 seconds. Very simple, two questions to start off with to understand the units and the uniformity of units and application of formulas. Okay. Now let's get into the different kinds of questions that you can expect in this chapter. So let's look at the next question, please. A really good question. Spend a minute or so, understand it, understand the traps there, and get the final answer. Let's look at this question now. Now, this question says a bus travels at a speed of 45 kilometers an hour. Okay. But it stops. For every 250 meters, the bus stops at a bus stop for 1 minute. So in how many minutes does the bus cover the entire distance? Now we know that if the question is asking us the total time here involves your travel time as well as the stoppage time. Okay, guys. Now when I talk about the stoppage time, so I will calculate how many stops for which the bus is stopping into 1 minute per stop. Okay. Number of stops into 1 minute per stop. Now, travel time, I know that the bus has been traveling for 6 kilometers at a speed of 45 kilometers an hour. So, time is equal to distance by speed. Kilometers and kilometers per hour. So, time would be in the form of hours. If I have to convert in the form of minutes, I multiply by 60. Okay. If I multiply by 60, then what do I get, guys? This is 3s, this is 4s, this is 3 1s, this is 3 2s. So, therefore, we get 8 minutes is the travel time. Clear? Now tell me, for how many stops has the bus stopped? How many stoppages? 24 or 23? A lot of you are saying 24. Now try to understand this here. Suppose this is a situation of your house. Okay. Your house is at 6th kilometer point. So every 250 meters you stop. Okay. So if every 250 meters you stop, I can do a very simple calculation. I can take 1 kilometer. We will have 4 such 250 meter stops. So I'm stopping for 4 times. And if you want to do it into 6 kilometers, then this is 24 stops. But tell me, the 6th kilometer is your house, Tanuja and Yashin. The 6th kilometer is your house, Amma. So will you stop there for 1 minute or will you stop there forever? Or will I consider that stop? I repeat, the 6th kilometer is your house. So when you reach your house, you do not stop for 1 kilometer, 1 minute anymore, right? So that means you're not stopping for 24 times. You have 23 stoppages. Is this point clear with all of us, guys? The last stoppage will not be considered because that is your destination. In destination, you're not stopping for 1 minute. That's not a bus stop. That's your destination. Clear? So therefore, you have 23 stoppages and each stoppage you are stopping for 1 minute and therefore the total stoppage time is equal to 23 minutes. And that's why I told you there's a trap in this question. And the total time for which the bus has been traveling and stopping is 31 minutes. 32 is a commonly seen answer, which is wrong. Okay. Let's move to the next question, guys. A very simple question. Should not take more than 30 seconds. Can we solve this, please? Just try to understand the simplicity of the question. Don't try to complicate it. Yep, now let's see. Professor Mote walks to the market and comes back in an auto. Now please remember, this involves only the travel time. So the time for which he is taking to walk to the market plus the time that he is taking to come back by auto is 90 minutes. Okay. Now, when he is going by auto and when he is coming back by auto, the time taken is equal to 30 minutes. Now, please remember, when the question is not commenting on anything, that means all the other things are remaining constant, which means the speed by which is going by auto here and the speed by which is going by auto is same. Clear? And the walking time also, the walking speed also remains the same. If going by auto and coming by auto is 30 minutes, can I say each side with a logical calculation, he is taking 15 minutes by auto. So if each side is 15 minutes by auto, can I say one side by walk, according to the first equation, should be 75 minutes. So if he's going on foot, he's taking 75 minutes to reach the market. So on that fine day, he walked on both the sides. If he walked on both the sides, that becomes 75 into 2, which is equal to 150 minutes is the time for which he has been walking. Is this point clear with all of us, guys? And therefore, the answer is 150. Great. Let's move to the next question, please. Yep. So this is again a typical speed, time, and distance question. Take a minute and solve this, please. Sushmita, correct. Now let's see this question, guys. Now, while going from Mumbai to Pune, I travel from Mumbai to Lonavala, a distance of 40 kilometers. Okay. So I have Mumbai to Lonavala, a distance of 40 kilometers. Okay. And at a certain speed, now I do not know at what speed I'm traveling. Let's say that is at a speed of s. Now, from Lonavala to Pune, I'm continuing my journey, which is a 100-kilometer stretch at twice the previous speed, that is 2s. Now, the question is talking about if I took a total of 3 hours for the entire journey, which means the question says the total time taken is 3 hours. So, I can say the time taken to travel from Mumbai to Lonavala plus the time taken to travel from Lonavala to Pune is equal to 3 hours. Now, what is the formula of time, guys? The formula of time is distance by speed. Okay, so this gives me 40 by s plus 100 by 2s, which is equal to 3. If you want to simplify, you can multiply by 2 on both the sides. So the denominator is same. So I can say this is 180 by 2s is equal to 3. 3 ones are 360s are 2 ones are 230s. So therefore, I get the value of s is equal to 30. Now the question is not asking you just the value of s, the question is asking you both the values of speed. So therefore, the final value becomes if s is equal to 30, then 2s will be equal to 60. So 30 comma 60 should be your required answer. And they are in kilometers per hour only because the distance given to me is in the form of kilometers and the time given to me is in the form of hours. So speed has to be in kilometers per hour. Okay, guys. Let's move to the next question, please. Yep. This is in front of you. Take a minute. Be careful with the units of across all the areas. Okay. So take a minute and solve this, please. Only one correct answer. I told you beforehand only, guys, that the units have to be kept very much in check. So let's see what is happening here. Okay. Now Ramesh travels 3 distances in the ratio of 1:2:3. Okay, guys. So distances, I'm given the ratio. Let us say this is x, this is 2x, and this is 3x. Okay. Now the speeds given to me are in meters per second. If speed given to me is in meters per second, the uniformity says that distance should be in meters and the time taken should be in seconds. Now this is the first and the foremost point you should have cross-checked. Now this is 20, this is 30, and this is 40. Okay. If the total time taken is given to me, now what is time? Time is distance by speed. So time taken for the first part of the journey plus time taken for the second part of the journey plus time taken for the third part of the journey is equal to the total time taken. But I repeat that time taken should be in the form of seconds, right? I am given 23 minutes. So if I have to convert minutes into seconds, I have to multiply by 60. Most of you would have committed a mistake here. First step of committing a mistake. Okay. Now let's see. When I take my LCM, this is 120. I get 6x plus 4 2s are 8x plus 3 3s are 9x is equal to 23 into 60. Now 9 plus 8 is 17. 17 plus 6 is 23. So we have 23x is equal to 23 into 60 into 120. Now 23 and 23 gets cancelled. So the value of x is equal to 7,200 meters. Now most of you also fall into a trap here. Now not your fault guys, because right from our childhood we have been calculating the value of x. Now read the question statement once again guys. The question says find the total distance covered by Ramesh. What is the total distance covered, x or something else? The first part is covering x. The second part is covering 2x and the third part is covering 3x. You are correct, Sai Aditya. The total distance is going to be 6x, which means that's going to be 6 into 7.2, which would give me 43.2 kilometers. Or if you are going in the form of meters, that is 43,200 meters. Any one of these, depending on the options. Is this point clear, guys? A very beautiful question on speed, time, and distance. Very simple, yet they trap you here. That's a beautiful part of aptitude exams. Okay. Can I move forward, guys? Quick responses, please. Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Great. Can we solve this question, please? Yeah, again, a beautiful question. Take a minute and solve this, please. Now, this question is a beautifully designed question, guys, which again pushes you to commit a mistake. Now, why? Because I'm given two things here. Okay, I'm given distance and I'm given total time. So if I look at it, I am covering a total distance of 300 kilometers. So I'm writing TD is equal to 300 kilometers. And I'm taking a total time of 8 hours. Okay. Now, if I look at it this way, I'm given speeds of 30 kilometers an hour and 50 kilometers an hour respectively. Now read the question statement, guys. The question statement says, find the time for which I was traveling at 30 kilometers an hour. So it's beautiful, or it's advisable to take time as x. So since I'm asked the time taken at 30 kilometers per hour, let me assume that I've been traveling for x hours at 30 kilometers an hour. Okay. So if I've been traveling at x for x hours at 30 kilometers per hour, can I say that at 50 kilometers an hour, if total time taken is x out of the 8, and out of that I'm traveling at x, that means I am going at 8 minus x for the remaining distance. Clear, guys? So I can say speed into time is the distance here. So distance traveled at 30 kilometers an hour becomes 30x. Speed into time is a distance here. So distance traveled at 50 kilometers an hour becomes 50 into 8 minus x. Okay. 50 into 8 minus x. Now this total distance is equal to 300 kilometers. So what do we have here, guys? We have 30x plus 50 into 8 is 400 minus 50x is equal to 300. Or what do we get eventually? We get 20x is equal to 100, or we get the value of x is equal to 5. Now, strategically, we have assumed the value of x as whatever is asked in the question. So therefore, this guy takes 5 hours to cover at or travel at a speed of 30 kilometers an hour. Clear, guys? Great. Let's look at the next question, please. Let's solve this, please. Now let's look at this question. I'll teach you the basic method. I will teach you the shortcut method. Okay. Now, a man walks at 5/7 of the original speed and he reaches his office late by 10 minutes. So what is happening here? Can I say there was a usual speed? Okay. So there was a usual speed, let's say S, and today this guy is traveling at 5/7 of his speed. Clear? And let's say there was a usual time, let's say T minutes. Okay. And today he has been traveling at T plus 10 minutes. Clear? Now, please remember, whenever these kind of questions are being, I mean, you come across these kind of questions, it just means that he's traveling the same distance, guys. Okay. Now, the same distance means now speed into time is the distance covered in the first case. Now, let me assume speed in kilometers per hour. Okay. If speed is in kilometers per hour, then the time becomes t divided by 60 because minutes I'm converting in the form of hours. And in the second case, 5 by 7 of s into t plus 10 by 60. Because minutes has to be converted in the form of hours. So s and s gets cancelled. When we cross multiply, we get 7t is equal to 5t plus 50. Or you get 2t is equal to 50. Or the usual time happens at usual speed. So original speed is equal to s and original time is equal to t. So therefore, the original time taken by this person is equal to 25 minutes. Clear, guys? Quick responses, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Now comes the shortcut. Standard model. So we should understand that distance is constant. If distance is constant, understand the logic here is speed is inversely proportional to time. The more the speed, the less the time I take to cover the same distance. Okay. Now, if speed is inversely proportional to time, right? The logic here is if speed is equal to 5 by 7th of the original speed, inversely proportional, so time becomes 7 by 5 of t. Clear, guys? First things first. Second shortcut, numerator minus denominator. So 7 minus 5 by 5 into t is equal to 10 minutes. So what do I get? I get 2t by 5 is equal to 10. 2 ones are 2 fives are, or the value of t is equal to 25 minutes. Is this point clear with all of us, guys? Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Shortcut, Nano? Yeah. See, the shortcut is simple. If the speed is 5 by 7 of s, see, the mathematical ways, if speed is 5 by 7 of s, then time will be inverse, that is 7 by 5 of t. So new time is equal to old time plus 10 minutes summer. Now, this is what I'm doing in a shortcut manner. So if you do this, then what do you get? You get 7 by 5t minus t is equal to 10. Kada? So if you take 5 as the LCM and you take t common, then what are you getting? You're getting 7 minus 5. Kada? Is this point clear? Bhagwan, Srinath, Yashin. Right. So this is what I did. You see, numerator minus denominator by denominator into t. So numerator minus denominator by denominator into t. So instead of doing it manually, by head cheskunto minus 1 always untadi. Minus 1 means what? Numerator minus denominator. Remember multiplying factor concept? Percentage change from multiplying factor. Our concept use cheskuntam nanu. Clear? So this gives me 2 by 5 of t directly is equal to 10, or the value of t is equal to 25. Can I proceed from here now, guys? Great. Let's move to the next question, please. Yep. Can we solve one more question, please, on the same lines? So if you observe this question and the previous question, in the previous question, you were asked the time taken here. That's why we went ahead on the distance is equal to constant model. Now here, if you observe that the distance covered by the man is asked, right? So let's try to understand this, guys. So if I'm saying that, suppose your usual time to reach your college is 8 o'clock, Nana. Okay. If you're traveling at 30 kilometers an hour, can I say you're reaching your college at 8:15? As per the question. If you're traveling at 40 kilometers an hour, you're reaching your college at 7:50. Tell me what is the time difference between both the speeds here? What is the time difference between both the speeds? Can I say it is 25 minutes? 10 minutes are here, 15 minutes are here. So 25 minutes is the time difference between both the speeds. So time taken when he's traveling at 30 kilometers an hour is d by 30 minus time taken when he's traveling at 40 kilometers an hour is d by 40. And I know the time difference is equal to 25 minutes. You cannot take minutes because speed is in kilometers an hour. So take in the form of hours. So 25 minutes is equal to 25 by 60 hours. So now if we simplify, we should be getting it very easy manner. 120 is equal to 4d minus 3d, that is 25 by 60. 61s are 62s are, you simplify, the value of d that you get is equal to 50 kilometers. So therefore 50 is your answer. Is this point clear with all of us? Quick responses, guys. Great. Let's move to this question, please. Take a minute and solve this. Very beautiful question. Try to understand the unsaid stuff. This question says that a person walks at 14 kilometers an hour instead of a usual speed of 10 kilometers an hour. Okay. And covers 20 kilometers more. That means usually, let's say I've been running for T hours and one fine day, let's say today, also I ran for T hours only. Okay. So usually I run at 10 kilometers an hour speed and today I ran at 14 kilometers an hour speed, which means the distance that I used to cover usually is speed into time, and the distance I used to cover usually is again speed into time. Clear? And then I know that the difference of that distance, that is 4t is equal to 20, or the value of t is equal to 5. That means every day this person has been running for 5 hours. Is this point clear with all of us? Now, if t is equal to 5, the question is asking you find the total distance covered by him. Usually, actually this guy covers 10 into 5. Okay. So the total distance covered by him is equal to 50 kilometers. That should be your answer. Clear, guys? So let's move forward from here, and we are moving to the next concept called average speed. Okay. Now, what is average speed? Average speed is nothing but total distance by total time. So if you go ahead and look at it this way, I can either write d1 plus d2, which is a direct formula that is divided by t1 plus t2, but generally we will not be given direct values. Other way to write it, d1 can be written as s1 into t1, d2 can be written as s2 into t2 divided by t1 plus t2. Now these are the formulas in which you can apply average speed. Now one more cautionary note. Average speed is not equal to average of the speeds. Generally students confuse here. Okay, these two are not the same. Average of the speeds, there is no concept called average of the speeds. We are applying average speed concept only. Is this point clear with all of us, guys? So let's move ahead with the next question, please. Yep. Can we solve question number 11, please? Let's take a minute. Easy question, guys. Quick responses, please. Great. Sudhir says it is okay. Great, Bhagwan. Correct answer. Uma, correct answer. No, Navina, you're committing the same mistake. Now, again, a lot of you have given me the answer as 50, which is again wrong. Please understand, if you are writing 60 plus 40 by 2, what are you doing? You are calculating average of the speeds, which is not asked in the question, guys. The question is asked you average speed. So for average speed, I again repeat, the formula for average speed is equal to total distance upon total time. So since I do not know, let's say the distance from A to B is P and distance from B to C is Q. So total distance becomes P plus Q. So P distance is traveling at a speed of 60 and Q distance is traveling at a speed of 40. So this becomes your average speed. Now, since I do not know any of these values, one equation and two variables, we will have infinite answers, and therefore your answer becomes cannot be determined. Clear, guys? So let's move into the next level of questions and start understanding how do we calculate average speed. Can you take a minute and solve this, please? Yeah. Let's look at this question. A man covers first 1/3 of the total distance at 30 kilometers an hour. So I'm given that the speed is 30 kilometers an hour and the remaining at a speed of 40 kilometers an hour. Okay. Now I'm also given distance. What's the distance? The first 1/3 of 180. What is 1/3 of 180? So first 60 kilometers at 30 kilometers an hour and the next 120 kilometers at 40 kilometers an hour, because the total distance covered is equal to 180. Okay. So if I am given this, I can calculate the time taken. So to calculate the time taken, we know the distance and speed. Distance by speed is the time taken. So 60 by 3 would give me 2 hours and 120 by 40 would give me 3 hours. So what is the total time taken? My total time taken is equal to 5 hours. Therefore, clear? The average speed we know is total distance by total time. Okay. Total distance is 180 kilometers at a total time of 5 hours. So therefore, your average speed for the entire journey here becomes 36 kilometers per hour. Is this point clear? Yep, great. Let's move forward, guys. So yeah, can you solve this question? Please take a minute and solve this, please. The beautiful part here is equal distances have been covered. Okay, when I say equal distances have been covered, let me assume, let's say distance for the first part of the journey is X kilometers and distance for the second part of the journey is also X kilometers. Okay, speed given to me is 60 kilometers an hour and speed given to me is 40 kilometers an hour. Now I'll tell you one simple shortcut here, guys. Now we know time is equal to distance by speed. అయితే ఇక్కడ ఏంటి వస్తుందమ్మా, టైమ్ ఇస్ ఈక్వల్ టు ఎక్స్ బై 60 వస్తుంది, ఇక్కడ టైమ్ ఇస్ ఈక్వల్ టు ఎక్స్ బై 40 వస్తుంది. నౌ ఐ డు నాట్ వాంట్ ఫ్రాక్షన్స్, గైస్. If I do not want fraction, can I say that instead of x, if my numerator is a multiple of 60, then I will not have a fraction here? Quick responses, please. Similarly, here instead of x, if I assume x to be a multiple of 40, I won't have a fraction. So remember, whenever equal distances are covered, okay, assume each part of the distance. I repeat, x is each part, okay? Assume each part of the distance as the LCM of speeds given to you. Clear, guys? Each part of the distance is the LCM of speeds given to us. So therefore, I would assume each part of the distance here. So I would assume x to be LCM of 60, 40. Now my job becomes pretty easy here, guys. 120 kada? Don't eliminate x. Assume the distance to be 120x. Since we're solving for the first time. Okay. Now time taken is what? 120x by 60. So time taken here is 2x. Now this is 120x by 40. So time taken here is equal to 3x. So what is the total time taken? And I know the total time taken here is equal to 5x hours. Now let's calculate average speed, guys. So this becomes a very easy method of solving. So the average speed is equal to total time is equal to 240x divided by total time is equal to 5x. And as most of you have given the answer, it is 48 kilometers an hour. Okay, guys. So this is how we solve equal distances. This method helps you to solve if you are given 3 equal distances or 4 equal distances and so on and so on and so on. Having said that, only if there are 2 equal distances covered. This formula is applicable to only 2 equal distances. Okay, and the formula here says that if one of the speeds is represented by A and the second equal distance, the speed at which the person is traveling is B, then you can directly apply the formula also that the average speed for the entire journey is 2, sorry, my bad, 2AB by A plus B. Okay, so it's 2AB divided by A plus B becomes the average speed of the entire journey. I repeat, A and B represent the speeds at which they are traveling the equal distances. Is this point clear with all of us? Great. Let's move to the next question. Let's solve 3 equal distances, guys. Take a minute. By 1 minute, you should be able to get the answer. Yeah, let's see this, guys. So a person travels 1/3 of the total distance at 20 kilometers an hour, the next 1/3 at 30 kilometers an hour, and the remaining. So if you see 1/3, the remaining will also be 1/3. So if you understand, the distance covered is equal here, x, and x. The speeds are 20, 30, and 60. So I repeat, assume x to be an LCM of 20, 30, and 60. So I would assume each part of the distance to be 60x kilometers. So what is the total distance covered? Total distance covered is equal to 180x. Okay. Now speed is 30. So 60x kilometers, I'm traveling at a speed of 30 kilometers an hour. So time taken will be 2x. 60x kilometers, sorry, traveling at a speed of 20 kilometers an hour, that's going to be 3x. And 60x kilometers, I'm traveling at 60 kilometers an hour, that's going to be x. So therefore, your total answer becomes 180x by 6x, or the value becomes 30 kmph should be your answer. Is this point clear with all of us, guys? Great. So let's look at one last model here. It's called a stoppage model, guys. So please read the question and then I'll explain you simultaneously. Sorry, I just got a call from Jagdish sir only. Yeah, let's see this, guys. So it says that excluding stoppages, the average speed of a journey is 54 kilometers an hour. Including stoppages, the average speed is 45. Which means excluding stoppages means non-stop. Non-stop means, can I say travel speed? Okay. So if the train is continuously traveling, the travel speed is 54 kilometers an hour. See, remember the word used is average speed amount. Okay. So what does that mean? Let's assume a distance here. Let us again assume a distance to be LCM of 45 and 54. What is LCM of 45 and 54, guys? That is 270, I believe. Okay. So let's see, in the first case, to travel 270 non-stop, this is like a Duronto. Okay. So we have forgotten the trains, right? Thanks to Corona period. So 270 kilometers non-stop travel చేసుకుంటే ఎంత టైం పడుతుందమ్మా మనకి 270 by 54 అయితే 5 hours పడుతుంది. ఇప్పుడు the train at which you are going is an express train. It is also running at 54 only. Remember that. But the time taken is more because this also has stoppages. అయితే 270 by 45 చేసుకుంటే మనకి 6 hours పడుతుందమ్మా. Are you getting this point, guys? Quick responses, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. So please understand this 6 hours low travel time is same here. See, that's the only difference between a Duronto and a express train. It's not that Duronto is running faster. Duronto is not stopping. So it's saving that time, okay? So travel time is 5 hours. So can I say the stoppage time is equal to 1 hour? Now, 6 hours journey lo stoppage time 1 hour avutundi. As per the question, manaki stoppage time per hour kavali. So can I say 1 hour journey lo stoppage time will be 1 by 6th of an hour? Is this point clear? Which means how many minutes? 1 by 6 into 60. That means for 10 minutes, the train has been stopping per hour. Every 1 hour, 10 minutes stop out. This is the basic method, guys. I don't want you to follow the basic method. I just wanted you to understand why this game comes up here. Okay. Now let's understand the formula. This is a standard formula, standard model. For standard model, we have standard formulas. So I repeat, the stoppage time per hour is 1 minus speed with stoppages divided by speed without stoppages. Clear? Or reduce speed by non-stop speed. This is in hours. These many hours, or in short, generally the question asks you per minute only. Per minute cheyalaithe into 60 cheyandi. So stoppage time per hour is equal to 1 minus speed with stoppages, speed non-stop, into 60 will be the number of minutes for which the train is stopping. Is this point clear? So 1 minus 45 by 54. That is 5 by 6 kada. So 1 minus 5 by 6 enta 1 by 6. 1 by 6 into 60 enta. That means the train is stopping for 10 minutes in every 1 hour. Am I clear, guys? Can I proceed from here? Great. Let's move to the next simple model and a very good model, which is called relative speed. Okay. Now, when does relative speed come into picture? Remember, whenever I see two bodies, two freely moving bodies, clear? Either they travel towards each other, clear? Or they travel in the same direction, which means something like a chase is happening. I'm trying to catch you, clear? So in both the cases, when two freely moving bodies are going to meet each other, I use the concept called relative speed. And we all know the meaning of relative speed. The meaning of relative speed is speed of one body with respect to the other. Okay. So let's understand what is the relative speed concept. The relative speed concept gives us the time taken to meet is equal to distance at the same time of the start divided by relative speed. So as I told you, two people can move in the same direction or two people might move in the opposite direction. So when two bodies are moving in opposite direction, the relative speed is higher, which is speed of faster plus speed of slower. When two people are moving in same direction, the relative speed becomes lower. That speed of faster minus the speed of slower. Clear? So this is what we apply here. Now, if you get confused, what is addition and what is subtraction, I always tell us, suppose we are sitting in a train, okay? And there is another train parallel to our track, and both the trains are moving in same direction. So you would have observed that you find that the movement is more or less not even happening. So if two bodies are moving in same direction, reduction of the speeds. Clear? At the same time, if you are sitting in a train and there is another train coming in opposite direction, if another train is coming in opposite direction, we find the other train to be faster. Clear? So when two trains are moving in opposite direction, the speed is faster. Clear? So therefore, it is slower and faster. Same direction, faster minus slower. Opposite direction, faster plus slower. Okay, let's move to the next one, please. Yep, can we calculate this, please? Let's see what's happening here, guys. Now, the question says that train P starts from A towards B and the distance of AB being 330 kilometers. So, A and B are at a distance of 330 kilometers. Train P is starting from here at 8 o'clock and running at a speed of 60 kilometers per hour. Train Q is starting from here at 9 o'clock running at a speed of 75 kilometers an hour. Clear, guys? Now, first things first in relative speed is, are they starting together? They are not starting together. So therefore, we need to ensure that they are starting together, and that is the distance that we are talking about. Okay. And in this case, generally look at the person who is starting later. So I want to see at 9 o'clock, where is P? So at 9 o'clock, okay, P would have covered for 1 hour and would have run at a speed of 60 kilometers an hour. That means at 9 o'clock, P would have crossed 60 kilometers, which means at 9 o'clock, can I say these two bodies are separated by a distance of 270 kilometers? Clear, guys? Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Great. Now, if at 9 o'clock they are separated by 270 kilometers, right? So this is the distance separating them at the same time of the start. Two bodies are moving in opposite direction. So relative speed becomes the sum of their speeds, and therefore they are going to meet 2 hours after the start. Clear? If it's 2 hours after the start, now when did they start? So we are in this situation at 9 o'clock. So therefore 2 hours after 9 o'clock, they are going to meet at 11 o'clock. And that's going to be your answer. Clear, guys? So moving forward, can we solve this question, please? Take a minute. The previous question we saw was in opposite direction. Now this question we are seeing in same direction. Okay. As I told you, the first things first is we want to find two things here. Time taken to meet is the distance at the same time, for which we will see what is the distance separating them when somebody is starting later. Okay. Divided by relative speed. Now relative speed is depending on the direction. So a thief escapes from a prison at 2 o'clock and travels at a speed of 30 kilometers. The police realize the escape at 3:30 and starts the chase at 40 kilometers an hour. So I know one thing directly, that direction is same. So relative speed will become 40 minus 30. That is 10 kmph. Right? Now, the thief started from the prison and the police is starting at 3:30. So can I say my job is to first understand at 3:30 where is the thief? But the thief started at 2 o'clock. So at 3:30, the thief would have ran for 1.5 hours at his own speed of 30 kilometers an hour, which means at 3:30, the gap between police and the thief would have been 45 kilometers. Clear, guys? At 3:30, the gap between thief and the police would have been 45 kilometers. Now, so 45 kilometers divided by relative speed, that means they are going to meet after how long? After 4.5 hours. 4.5 hours from what time? 4.5 hours from 3:30. So 3:30 plus 4.5, their meeting time is going to happen at 8 p.m. Now there's one more question asked. The other question asked is, at what distance from the prison is the thief caught? Let's say till here. So can I say this distance has been covered by the police in 4.5 hours at the speed of police, and the speed of police is 40. So 4.5 into 40, which means 180 kilometers from the prison, the thief is being caught. Is this point clear? Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Great. So let's move to the next concept, guys. The next concept is the concept of trains. Okay, let's look at the first question directly here. Now you will see terms like these. A train crosses a pole. Okay. Now remember, if I'm talking about a pole, or I'm talking about a tree, or I'm talking about a man, or I'm talking about a bird, these are the common things that we see in the exam. Okay, cyclists and so on, so on, so on. In all these cases, the length of the object is assumed to be negligible. But let's try to understand, what do I mean by a train crossing a pole in 7 seconds? Since the object does not have length, but we know that the train has length. So I start my watch when the train starts crossing the pole. Okay. And I stop my watch when the train is completely crossed the pole. That is what I mean by saying that train crosses the pole. So at 0th second, train was here. At 7th second, train was here. So in these 7 seconds, the distance covered is equal to length of the train. Is this point clear, guys? Clear? So in this case, the distance covered is equal to length of the train. Now, when a train is crossing an object of specific length, let's say I'm talking about a platform, or I am talking about a bridge, or I'm talking about another train. So how does the scene work now? So if this is my platform and this is the length of the train, I start my time when the train enters the platform, and I stop my time when the train completely moves out of the platform. Clear? So in this case, always remember, the distance covered is equal to length of the train plus the length of the object that the train is crossing. That's the only change that we need to understand from the previous model to this model. Okay, guys. So let's solve this question. So if I know this, that the time taken to cross is the length of the train, because the length of the pole is assumed to be 0, divided by speed of the train only, because pole cannot move. But the question is asking us the length of the train. So length of the train is equal to time in which the train is crossing into the speed of the train. Now, needless to say that the uniformity of units is really important. So distance covered is equal to, if the time is in seconds, the speed has to be in meters per second. So 72 kilometers would be 5 by 18 meters per second. 18 ones are 18 fours are. So therefore your answer becomes 7 into 20. So 140 meters is the length of the train. Clear, guys? Can I move forward now? Let's look at this question, please. Let's do it together. Now, what does the question talk about? The question says a train crosses two platforms. Let me say the length of the train is equal to T. Okay. So train is crossing first platform of length 400. So distance is equal to T plus 400. I do not know speed of the train. Let us assume that is equal to S. Distance by speed is equal to time taken. So the first equation says that it takes 6 seconds to cross. This is my first equation. Now, second equation says the same train is now crossing a platform of 600 meters at its own speed in 8 seconds. Now, this is my second equation. Now, tell me, guys, what is asked in the question? The length of the train or the speed of the train? The question is asked length of the train. That means speed is not important to me, right? So, if you have to cancel speed, I have to divide both the equations. If I divide both the equations, what would I get? T plus 400 divided by S whole divided by T plus 600 again divided by S is equal to 6 by 8. 6 by 8 is equal to 3 by 4. S and S gets cancelled. When I cross multiply, I get 4T plus 1600 is equal to 3T plus 1800. Clear? Or your transpose values, you get the value of T is equal to 200 meters. So therefore, the length of the train is equal to 200 meters. Am I clear here, guys? Quick responses, please. Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Yep, let's solve this, please. Yeah, let's solve this, guys. So two trains take 8 seconds and 12 seconds respectively to cross a pole. Now there are two distinct trains, okay? So let's say I'm talking about train 1 and I'm talking about a train 2, okay? Let's say the length of train 1 is A and the length of train 1 is B. And the time taken is 8 seconds and the time taken is 12 seconds. Clear? And let's say the speed is P and Q. Okay. So can I say the time taken is equal to length by speed in the first case? And in the second case, time taken is equal to length by speed. Distance by speed and distance by speed. So I have two equations here, okay? Now the third information told to us is two trains cross each other. So two trains crossing each other means the total distance is the length of both the trains. Clear? In opposite direction, if they're running in opposite direction, the relative speed becomes P plus Q and they take 10 seconds to cross. Now, if you observe, the question is asking us the ratio of the length of the trains. That means P and Q are not important. If P and Q are not important, guys, okay, that means we can replace the value of P and Q from here. I can write P is equal to A by 8 and I can say Q is equal to B by 12. Got the logic here, guys? Okay. If P is equal to A by 8 and Q is equal to B by 12, which means I can now write this as A plus B is equal to 10 into A by 8 plus B by 12. Let's take the LCM here, guys. ఇక్కడ LCM 24 వస్తుంది మనకి. This is 3A plus 2B into 10 is equal to A plus B. అయితే ఏంటి వస్తుంది? 2 5s 2 12s. క్రాస్ మల్టిప్లై చేసుకుంటాము. క్రాస్ మల్టిప్లై చేసుకుంటే ఏంటి వస్తుంది మనకి? 12A plus 12B is equal to 15A plus 10B. Or if I transpose, I get 3A is equal to 2B, or the ratio of A by B is equal to 2:3. This becomes our final answer. Is this point clear with all of us, guys? Great. Let's move forward. Yep. Now, let's see this question and tell me, what is the train crossing? Is the train crossing a man or is the train crossing a train? Just read the question and discuss. So a 300 meters long train traveling at a speed of 108 kilometers an hour, okay, crosses a driver of a 200 meters long passenger train in opposite direction in 6 seconds. Now, what is the train crossing, guys? A man or a train? The train is crossing a man sitting in the other train. So please remember, on the overall thing, this question comes under the concept called a train crosses a man. Clear? So if the train is crossing a man, clear? That means the time taken to cross becomes the length of the train which is crossing divided by relative speed. Relative speed is both the trains are moving in opposite direction. So no matter the man is not moving, but the speed of the passenger train is equal to the speed of the man. Okay. So 108 kilometers per hour plus s kilometers per hour. This should be in the form of meters per second. That is 5 by 18 and this time taken is equal to 6 seconds. Is this point clear with all of us? Quick responses, please. So we have 180 is equal to 108 plus s, or we get the value of s is equal to 72, and we have assumed 72 kilometers an hour. Okay. Now I need to convert that in the form of meters per second into 5 by 18, and that's gonna be how much, guys? 20 meters per second should be your answer. Is this clear? Quick responses, please. Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Great. Now let's enter into the last 3 questions of today's class. We are entering into a topic called boats and streams here. Okay. Now let's understand the terminology. I might be given the value of B. B represents the speed of boat in still water. Okay. So when the water is still, whatever is the speed of the boat, that is the actual speed of the boat. Okay. But boats questions come into picture only when the stream is also moving. So S represents the speed of the water or the speed at which the river or the stream is moving. Clear? Now please understand the boat is on the water. If the boat is on the water, which means there will be a case where the boat is going against the flow of the stream, which in this chapter is called upstream. Upstream is you are going against the flow of the water, but you are on the water, right? So please understand speed in the case of upstream becomes speed of the boat minus speed of the stream, because when you have a resistance from the water, you will not move faster. There's one more term called sometimes you might go along with the flow of the current. Now that as per this chapter is called downstream. Okay. And speed downstream in this case becomes the speed of the boat plus the speed of the stream. Is this point clear, guys? Everyone? Let's solve this question, please. Can we solve this question, please? Just 3 simple questions. I guess we'll take around 5 minutes. So a boat goes 40 kilometers upstream. So distance by speed upstream becomes B minus S. In how many hours? In 8 hours. So 8 ones are 8 fives are. So from here, what do I get? I get B minus S is equal to 5. First equation. The boat goes 40 kilometers downstream. When I go downstream, this becomes B plus S. Now that is in 5 hours. 5 ones are 5 eights are. So we get the value of B plus S is equal to 8. So B minus S is equal to 5 and B plus S is equal to 8. Now the question is asking you find the speed of the stream. So if I subtract both of them, clear? I get minus 2S is equal to minus 3, or minus and minus gets cancelled. The value of S is equal to 3 by 2, which is equal to 1.5 kilometers per hour. If speed of the stream is 1.5, then the speed of the boat becomes 6.5 kilometers an hour. So you can remember both of them. The speed of the boat is 6.5 kilometers per hour. Am I clear here, guys? Can I proceed? Great. Thanks for responding on time. Can we look at the last but one question of today's class, guys? Just last 2 questions. Hoping we'll wind up soon. Let's do it together. A man swims 3 hours downstream. So what is the distance covered in 3 hours? 3 into B plus S. Okay. And then he travels 2 hours upstream. 2 hours upstream becomes 2 into B minus S. Time into speed and time into speed. Now the total distance covered is equal to 42. Find the speed of the boat if the stream is running at 2 kilometers an hour. So if I change my equation, this becomes b plus 2 plus 2 times of b minus 2, which is equal to 42. So what do I get here? So I get 3b plus 6 plus 2b minus 4 is equal to 42. Or we get 5b is equal to 40. Or we get the value of b is equal to 40 by 5, that is equal to 8. And again, we are taking kilometers per hour. So two simple questions, guys. So one last really good question to start off with. Yes, can you take a minute and solve this, please? So this question says a boat covers 24 kilometers downstream. Now, when I go over to downstream, I'm taking b plus 2. And it takes 32 kilometers upstream. Upstream becomes b minus 2. And the total time taken is 11 hours. So the shortcut for this question directly here is, all this applies to all the boats and streams. Add 11 as, or divide 11 as a sum of two natural numbers. Okay. So I'm writing 4 plus 6, 4 plus 7, and 5 plus 6. So these are the ways in which 11 can be divided in the form of two natural numbers. Okay. Now look at a pair that divides both the numerators. If I observe, the pair that divides both the numerators is 3 and 8. Okay. So all I do here is I write 24 by b plus 2, let's say, is equal to 3. And 32 by b minus 2, let's say, is equal to 8. Let's see if this is working or not. Now this gives me 8, so I get b plus 2 is equal to 8, or the value of b is equal to 6. 8 ones are 8 fours are. We get b minus 2 is equal to 4, or we get the value of b is equal to 6. Since the answers are matching, this is going to be my answer, and my answer is going to be 6 kilometers an hour should be the ratio, or it should be the speed of the boat. So this is a shortcut for all boats and streams questions. Instead of taking an LCM, taking a quadratic equation and then solving doesn't make sense. You can directly go ahead and solve this. Is this point clear with all of us, guys?